morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. What's wrong?
Don't we have Todd with us this morning?
We do have Todd with us this morning. I just turned you on, Todd. Sorry.
You skipped me.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Tobin's like, hey, Erin, did you forget something? Okay, so forgive me. I apologize.
So, Todd, normally she does that to me. She keeps my mic off just to tease me a little bit. So it just means she really likes you.
Hey, when you got that kind of control, use it, right? I don't want to hear you. I will shut you off.
You know what? It is so not. There are so many things to do when I first get it. Yeah. Tobin's just kicking it in the other room, and I'm getting everything set up, putting all the ads in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's totally my fault, and I'm sorry.
I'm fine.
So glad to have everybody with us this morning. We have to talk about yesterday's bombs that were sent to everybody and their brother. That, when those reports first started coming in, I thought, oh, they can't be real bombs. But turns out they were.
Yeah. It's funny. When I got up, I usually put on one of the news channels just to kind of see if anything's happening today, And so I get up this morning, and literally all morning, all CNN is doing is congratulating themselves on how well they handled the situation.
Are you God, why doesn't that surprise me? Oh, my goodness.
And generally, I like CNN. I mean, I feel like they're sort of more middle of the road than MSNBC or Fox. Not that they're necessarily middle of the road, but they're, I don't know, less on the edges of the bell curve in my mind a little bit. But yeah, this morning it was like, okay, well, get it. You guys had a rough situation. You handled it because, one of the bombs, I guess, went to them.
It did.
And so they, evacuated their studios and kudos to them for handling it well. But okay, we get it. You handled it well. Tell us some news.
Yeah, that's,
Rule number one of the news: don't make yourself the story.
Okay, but tell that to CNN.
Yeah.
And so Jim Acosta always inserts himself. I'm not a fan of Jim Acosta. Like the little clips that we don't have cable news, but I watch the clips on YouTube and on their website. And pardon?
I would say that they all do that. That is the rule number one, Tobin, is no longer in effect at all for news. Journalistic integrity has shifted from what it was 20 years ago.
So now a suspicious package was found Thursday at the building housing Robert De Niro's office in downtown Manhattan, and another one was addressed to former Vice President Joe Biden, and that was discovered in Delaware. They're similar to the pipe bombs found yesterday, and so apparently they're still arriving.
Bob and Joe.
Yeah. Now, Robert, so I'm thinking, with the notable exception of Maxine Waters, all of these people are East Coasters. It makes me think that the perpetrator is somewhere on the East Coast.
They don't seem to be affecting iconic people from this coast at all.
So Jerry Brown hasn't gotten a package. Maybe he will. I don't know.
Yeah, or that we're aware of. It takes a while to get it across country. U.S. mail isn't what it used to be.
So
it's funny because I mail things sometimes to my daughters, and I have one on the East Coast and one in Sacramento. And sometimes things will get to the East Coast in 2 days and take a week to get to Sacramento. And I'm thinking, really? I can walk it there in that time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's laughable.
So the package to Robert De Niro was found at 375 Greenwich Street. And that's the site of the restaurant Tribeca Grill, which apparently Robert De Niro owns, and the offices of Robert De Niro's film and television production company, Tribeca Productions. The building was already empty, so they didn't have to evacuate. They just, took care of the bomb. This is not okay behavior. Under any circumstances, I don't care what your political persuasion is, you don't do this. This is not okay behavior. I think the president came out early on, and the first lady came out early on and condemned the bombs, and that there's no place for political violence in our country, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then he had a rally. And at that rally, he was blasting the media and, back to his Trumpian ways. And for a lot of people, and I happened to be in this camp, it was like, really, dude, you couldn't take one day off? Come on.
Yeah, or at least maintain that tone for this rally instead of because he has such an aggressive, he takes such an aggressive verbal stance that I think some people, out of frustration, feel like they have to do something aggressive, and obviously this is a poor choice of things to do. I don't condone violence and don't condone this type of reaction at all, but you wonder if the tone that he sets has in some people's mind maybe made it okay to go a little further, a little more extreme than they would have previously.
See, I don't blame, unless he's going out there and saying, get in people's faces, you should do, be.
But he has. I mean, he's said, get them out of here, and
that's true, he has.
I'll pay your bail. I mean, he's literally said that in front of a crowd to people.
He did. Well, he was running for office. He did.
Right.
You're right.
And so you think, that's essentially telling somebody it's okay to do something physical and to be violent with somebody, and I'll take care of you on the back end. It's just, that is so wrong on so many levels that it's just, and again, I'm not condoning any violence. I'm just trying to understand, why would somebody elevate to this level?
I don't know. And it's happening, it started, I think that calling for violence, because I had forgotten about that, did start with Trump. But both sides are doing it now. Because I was thinking about, the Democrats who have said, get out there and disrupt their, Maxine Waters. I think this may be why Maxine Waters was on the list of people to get an explosive device, because she called for violence, or at least harassment of people she doesn't agree with.
Yeah, well, look at what's been happening on some of our college campuses. If somebody is scheduled to speak and enough people disagree with that person, instead of protesting the speech, they just don't let them speak anymore, and that's just wrong. People, you need to allow those you disagree with the space to have their say, and then you could disagree with them.
I agree with you. Well, the Evergreen State College, of course, was the most egregious example of this. And that was I don't know if you're familiar with what happened there about 18 months ago. They had a day without a minority that was kind of a normal, not I can say normal, an annual thing. And people of color elected to not go to class on that particular day every year. Well, in 2017, 2018, they said that they wanted a day. It must have been 2018. They said they wanted, 2017. Sorry. They said they wanted instead of a day without a minority, it was a day without a white person. And they wanted to make a rule that white people couldn't come to campus that day. Well, one of their professors, an evolutionary biologist, Weinstein, I think his name is, he said no, I'm going to come to class. It's one thing for a person to opt out. It's another thing to be forced not to come. He said, I'm going to come. This is my job. And he's a very, very progressive evolutionary biologist. Both he and his wife worked there. And so the student body went nuts. They actually took over the school and held the president hostage. And the president, Mr. Spineless, I don't remember his name, was actually coddling these kids as they, for 2 weeks, essentially the campus was under siege. And because of that, they had in the next year, so for the 2018 or 2017 and 2018 academic year, the number of freshmen who enrolled in Evergreen State College plummeted, and the number of people who came back plummeted. But that, to me, was the most egregious example of this kind of, well, you're not doing exactly what I want, so I'll show you.
Yeah, I'll shut you down.
Exactly.
And it's a social attitude that is just, I think, incredibly wrong.
I agree with you.
I get that there are people who because of the color of their skin, the gender of their because of their gender, the color of their skin, their faith. There's been people who have been just treated badly throughout history, and they have every right to protest that, to make people aware of that. But you can't at the same time impose your will on other people in ways that limit their freedom and their liberty.
Yes. So I'm sure that the FBI is going to find out who sent all of these devices, and they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I don't care who it is. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Todd, if you're the bomber, you're going to jail.
It'll be fascinating if they find that information before the election, because I think the political spin off of that is going to be fascinating.
I need to shut that off.
What was that?
It's my, I don't want to say her name. It's my Amazon Echo.
Oh.
And something that got said must have sounded enough that I said, because I've got headphones on. They can't hear you. It can't hear you. Must have sounded enough like its name.
So, Tobin, can you repeat what you said?
I was just saying it'd be fascinating to me if they find out who sent the bombs before the election, because I think the political spin on all this stuff is been equally ridiculous and a little bit frightening as the actual bombs themselves, because both sides are sort of pointing at each other and saying, your side's the one who sent the bombs.
Right.
And so it's going to be fascinating if they find out who actually did it, and then the two sides are sort of scrambling to say, that's your guy.
So with that, let's take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
This election, the voters in the 42nd Assembly District have an amazing chance to finally be represented in Sacramento by someone who listens and cares.
I'm Denny Antoinette Mazingo. Vote for me November 6th.
Denny will reach across the aisle to work with the majority in Sacramento and give voters the voice they've been waiting for and need.
I will advocate and fight for universal health care, a path from college to career free of debt, a healthy business environment with abundant well-paying jobs, affordable housing for all, safe schools and communities, a transition program for 18-year-old foster care children. Seniors have to choose monthly on what life necessities they can afford, and we're going to change that.
Denny's a former military lawyer, a JAG. She will fight for you in Sacramento. Google Denny, D-E-N-I.
I'm Denny Antoinette Mazingo. I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Denny Antoinette Mazingo.
If you're looking for a full or part-time sales position and you have radio, TV, or print media experience, KCAA has a great opportunity waiting for you that pays the highest commissions in the market. KCAA is the only station in the IE that broadcasts on 3 frequencies, so advertisers receive 3 ads for 1 low rate. This makes KCAA a must-buy for every local business. If you're interested in a sales position with us, email CEO@KCAAradio.com.
How many commercials do you hear every day claiming to be the best weight loss program ever? The only problem, you spend a lot of money, you lose the weight, you gain it back. Plus, when all it takes is adding protein to your diet. Protein gives you what you need and reduces hunger. NutriPro is pure protein. It's not the newest fad. It's not the latest weight loss program, but it helps to stop those daily cravings safely. There's no magic. It's simply a 2-ounce shot of protein taken twice a day, 20 grams of pure, clean protein in every shot with absolutely no carbs, no fat, and no sugar. Feel full faster and keep feeling full longer. It never requires refrigeration, mixing, or dilution. It is simply easy access to protein anytime, anywhere. But it's not available in stores. It's available directly from the manufacturer. Go to myproteinnow.com and try a 20-count trial pack today. Go to myproteinnow.com for a special introductory offer, including shipping. Do it right now. myproteinnow.com.
Listen to KCAA Loma Linda for less confrontation and more information.
Reach out, touch faith.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So Give Big, San Bernardino County is almost here. And we've been joined once a week by folks over at the Community Foundation, partnered by some pretty phenomenal nonprofits. And today we have Andrea Mitchell. She is the guru of all things Give Big, San Bernardino County. And so how's it going, Andrea?
I prefer the goddess of Give Big. Good morning, all Brinkers, including Tobin. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So it is going well, and today is a big day for Give Big because it is the official launch event.
And that's going to be where?
At San Bernardino County Government Center, 384 or 5, I always get the number wrong, North Arrowhead, right there in the Rotunda area at 3 p.m. And this is where nonprofits all get together to show their presence and to thank the Board of Supervisors, and this is where the Board of Supervisors officially launched the campaign.
And so for those of people who are listening who are unfamiliar or need a reminder of what Give Big is, let them know what it is.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. So Give Big is a day dedicated to nonprofits in San Bernardino County and highlighting what they do and also donating to them to increase their sustainability and to have them continue doing what they do best, which is serving the community. And that day is October 30th, which is next Tuesday. It's coming up so soon. And it is 24 hours where anyone can go online at www.givebigsbcounty.org and look for some of their favorite nonprofits, such as Infant Toddler Success Program might be one, or things that focus on kids or puppies and kittens or veterans or seniors or the environment. They can just surf and look for a nonprofit that tickles their fancy. And they can give anything from $10 to however much they want to give.
So the Infant Toddler Success Program, which last year was housed within the Community Foundation, has now been, we've merged with the Making Hope Happen Foundation.
Right.
Making Hope Happen is, of course, participating in Give Big. And so, you know, you can find us or make a donation there, and we'll make sure that you note Infant Toddler Success or whatever program you like at Making Hope Happen, and your money will be put to work.
Yeah, and and this is the thing, Aaron, with the Give Big campaign, nonprofits do play such a vital role in the region. San Bernardino County has challenges, but we have so many great things going on. We have, San Bernardino City Schools alone, they've really improved by leaps and bounds, and programs such as the Infant Toddler Success Program, which really focuses on development and the importance of talking to your kids and things like that. Those types of things are done by nonprofits, and I don't think people understand that it's not just the schools, it's not just the government departments, it's nonprofits that really do work on improving the quality of life.
Now, how is the gamification looking so far?
It's looking like over $40,000 in prize money. So the way this works is, so your donation of, say, $10 will then essentially enable a nonprofit to compete for prize money. And there are these things called golden tickets, which are drawn every hour. So if you donate during an hour, during the 24-hour campaign, your name as a donor is put in a hat, essentially, and then a name is drawn, and whoever that donor donated to will receive an extra $425. So it's great. So $40,000 in prize money. So $10 donations. Yeah, it's huge, and $40,000 can make such that can go a long way for Infant Toddler Success Program.
So I'm looking on the website, and you can choose, if you want a nonprofit that serves a particular area of the county, you can do that. So maybe you have a heart for the Morongo Basin. You can choose the Morongo Basin. If maybe you have a heart for Big Bear, which always does really well. The mountain community just supports each other.
They do.
But it's lots of other places as well. If you're interested in donating to STEM education, the AAUW has a Tech Trek camp and STEAM project that you can. STEAM is, of course, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math that are all together. There's any cause that you have that you can think of is here.
Yep, and I spoke with actually the gal from AAUW Tech Trek, Lisa Patterson, and I asked her, I said, how has Give Big impacted you? And they have been able to double the number of young ladies that they send to this camp every summer. So they've doubled their capacity by participating in Give Big, which is huge. So in the past, there used to be 5 or 6 young ladies. Now they're sending 15 young ladies. So they've more than actually doubled. And I mean, just think about the future. This is really investing in the future of the region.
So we haven't talked a lot about environmental charities. The Mojave Desert Land Trust is on your list.
They are, and they're a phenomenal group out in the Mojave Desert. They were a group that was instrumental in bringing the National Monument designation out to the Sand to Snow National Monument.
Yes.
And so they have been instrumental in saving, and I hope that people in San Bernardino County, I know that they do love our deserts, love our mountains, our natural resources. We're so fortunate to have all these places to go hike, to go play. And we have Mojave Desert Land Trust. We've got the San Gorgonio
Wilderness Association.
Yep. We've got all sorts of environmental groups out here that need support as well.
So how do people get more information?
Oh, it's so easy. It is so easy. You just turn up that old computer, go to the old internet, and type in www.givebigsb, as in San Bernardino County, .org, and you can find any information you want. You can just put in something in the search bar that you're interested in, and all the nonprofits participating in the campaign will pop up.
Well, Andrea, thank you so much, as always, for joining us. Everybody, let everybody know one more time when and where the kickoff event is.
Absolutely. The kickoff event is today at 3 o'clock at San Bernardino County Government Center, which is 384 or 385 North Arrowhead. I always forget the number. It's in the Rotunda. It's the big county department. And it's at 3 o'clock. Please join us. There are going to be really cute cookies with the Give Big logo on it.
Oh, have fun.
There's also going to be some swag. So, Aaron, if you can't make it, I'll save you a T-shirt.
Thank you.
Yes, and it's just going to be a hoot. Music, videos, and the Rotunda's going to be rocking. Probably with music that you guys play.
Right on. I picked an 80s song just for you.
I know, but it was a little bit of a dark one. I like more of like the candy-coated ones, like the Bow Wow Wow and things like that. So next time, just it was a little bit of the dark, heavy one.
All right. So we do our wrap up and our day of. We'll play the happier. We'll play Adamant, and
it's perfect. Love it. Any of those would be great.
Well, Andrea Mitchell, thank you so much. Everybody, get out there and support your favorite cause. And between now and the 30th of October for Give Big San Bernardino County.
Thank you, Brinkers. As always, thank you for your support.
So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
California headline news. Authorities confirming overnight that a suspicious package in a Los Angeles mail facility was addressed to Congresswoman Maxine Waters and contained a live explosive.
Scared at all? Yeah, we got scared. I'm sure we got scared because we heard bombs and stuff.
Package matching the description of other suspicious packages mailed to other prominent political figures, including Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and Waters' office in Washington. None of the packages detonated. Another package intercepted this morning in New York, this one addressed to actor Robert De Niro. A judge unsealing a search warrant in the rape case against a Newport Beach doctor and his girlfriend. An attorney for one of the victims saying unsealing the warrant could prevent other victims from coming forward.
About 1 in 100 women who are raped or sexually assaulted actually get their day in court, in a criminal court. Our society is told 99 out of 100 times that you're going to get away with it.
Several claim Dr. Grant Robichaux and Cerisa Riley drugged and sexually assaulted them. Jeff Scott, California News.
On Election Day, we need to vote yes on Prop 6 to repeal the gas and vehicle tax. My name is Denise Duncan. We've been in business since 1997. The cost of living and doing business in California is already too expensive, and then they slap a higher gas and vehicle tax on us that will immediately cost the typical California family nearly $800 more. It took our local politicians 6 days to pass $52 billion in new taxes. Every dollar we have to pay in new taxes is a dollar we cannot pay a new employee or invest in our business. No wonder many businesses are closing or moving out of state. We all want to fix our roads and bridges, but we already pay billions in taxes to cover these repairs. If you are angry every time you see what it costs to fill up at the pump, take it out on the ballot box this November. Vote yes on Prop 6. Repeal the gas and car tax.
Paid for and authorized by the National Federation of Independent Business, California Political Action Committee.
California headline news. Transit officials set to unveil their plans for what they're calling a people path along the western span of the Bay Bridge. Representatives from the Bay Area Toll Authority and Caltrans joining engineers and others November 19th for a sneak peek at the planned project. The team says the bike and pedestrian path will share features with the existing path on the eastern side of the Yerba Buena Island, which opened in 2013. Transportation officials say they're aiming to alleviate crowding on BART trains. California News, I'm Jeff Scott.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Melvin, Washington. Sunny this morning, a high of 87. Clear this evening, low 59. Sunny and hot Friday, high 91. Friday night, mostly clear, low 59. I'm Alvin, Washington, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA. 102.3 FM, Riverside, 106.5 FM, Redlands, and the Legacy, 1050 AM, Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
Drivers, when it's time to visit the DMV, avoid the long lines and save time by calling toll-free 833-DMV-LINE. That's 833-DMV-5463.
KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
I'm Todd Brinker. That's a bit peppier.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And I'm pleased to welcome back to the show Dr. John Huber. He is the chairman for Mainstream Mental Health, a nonprofit organization that brings lasting and positive change to the lives of individuals that suffer from mental health issues. A mental health professional for over 20 years, Dr. Huber is a clinical forensic psychologist, and he's a practitioner with privileges at 2 long-term acute care hospitals. He has appeared on over 300 top-tier radio shows on NBC News radios like KCAA, CBS, Fox News Radio, and 30 national television programs on ABC, NBC, Spectrum News, and more. Dr. Huber is a Laws News go-to clinical psychologist and appears regularly on America Trends national television show. In addition, he is the host of Mainstream Mental Health Radio, which is heard nationwide and features interviews with today's top mental health professionals. Dr. Huber, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you for having me back, Erin.
So, yesterday, the bombs were sent, these pipe bombs were sent to so many prominent Democratic officials. People are pretty upset about that. What is your take from a psychologist's point of view?
Well, we look at a lot of different things, and everybody keeps talking about a bomber, and unfortunately, being this coordinated and having so many of them sent out and all showing up within 24 to 48 hours of themselves, it looks like it's probably a coordinated effort. Now, I'm not privy to any information. I'm just talking about the complexities of building those bombs, getting them shipped, all that type of stuff. We don't know any information right now, and I think the FBI is doing a good job keeping things close to their chest because we don't want the people behind all this to know what they know. That we want them to be able to use that information to catch them, pretty much like we were able to do with the Austin bomber this past summer. You know, they didn't disclose any information until they were making an arrest at that point.
So, you know, everything seems to be ratcheting up. And we've talked about this before, but everything seems to be ratcheting up. We're even hearing reports of, you know, from the last presidential election that these college students are showing signs of PTSD, which is, I was gobsmacked when I read that. It's like, come on, people. So, you know, what is happening out there?
Well, you know, they're saying, 1 in 4 people, millennials, college students, are giving those symptoms. And what you have to realize is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is a group of symptoms. It's not just one thing, but they're saying that they have at least one symptom. Well, one symptom could be anxiety. Another symptom could be depression, sleeplessness, nightmares, any of those things. And they're saying they have at least one of those symptoms. Well, is that really caused by that election, or is it just normal everyday life? But you also have to look at, for the millennials right now, 1 in 5, in other words, 20%, are contemplating and attempting suicide. So there's something inherently wrong with a portion of those millennials that has been expressed to a lot greater proportion than any other previous generation that we've had.
So is it that we've raised our children to not be able to cope?
That's what the research is suggesting at this point. But at the same time, we have some amazing millennials. I mean, just amazing kids out there that are far and above this and way beyond that type of situation. So with it all being, you know, said and done, ultimately, I think the pendulum will swing back in the other direction, and it will be nice to have that not be a main topic.
So one of the things that it would be one of the things that I'm seeing on social media that the rhetoric is really ramping up, and so it's not only the millennials, but people are less forgiving of one another, more angry at one another, more people are talking about revolution. And when I say revolution, for some people, I don't know that it means that we're taking up arms, although for others I think there is. So what needs to be done on a mental health level, and I'm putting you on the spot with this, to kind of to calm things down? What can people do to help calm the tone and the tenor of public discourse at the moment?
Well, the interesting thing with social media is it's not very social. You may be getting those posts over to a specific group, but they tend to be like-minded people. And what we see when we talk about terroristic type acts, like sending these bombs, is they're motivated when they feel like they have support of like-minded individuals. That somehow gives them permission to cross otherwise, forbidden boundaries, like the potential taking of somebody's life. And when they feel like all of a sudden now their life has meaning, it becomes, hey, this reason is more important than a few people's lives. So I am concerned with social media. I think one of the best things we can do is take a break from it. Don't always be on social media. And with my patients and the research that I've been seeing, if you have depression that's related to reading those headlines, that it only takes a week of downtime and those symptoms tend to go away for most people.
Really?
So, yeah. So, like, my new patients right now, when they come in the office, since probably April, maybe early May, one of the things I ask, if you're going to be my patient, I need you to stay off social media and quit watching the news for at least a month.
Wow. Now, do people show symptoms of withdrawal when you ask them to do that? I mean, if they actually take you up on that recommendation?
Within the first few days, they tend to be very anxious, and they have to read it, and then they start realizing all they were doing was reading headlines. They weren't actually reading the content of those stories, and it's very interesting to see that a lot of times headlines don't have anything to do with what's actually in the report.
Well, that's true. Headlines are the original clickbait.
That's it, and it's very intense on social media, and you can sit there and just follow those headlines all day long. The thing is, if you already believe something in that realm, it just reinforces your belief. If you don't believe it, you immediately go, oh, it's what they're talking about, fake news right there, and you don't go there anyway. So it becomes this self-feeding animal.
So should we be worried about people's reactions to the midterms, regardless of which way they go?
You know, it seems like we haven't stopped from the from the 2016 election. It seems like the whole ramping up of the media and following all this stuff, it's never let up, and it's like we had one long midterm election cycle here. So knowing that we have another major election coming right up, you know, if it goes one way, you're going to get tons of news stories about how, you know, one party's failing, the other party's, you know, dominating at this point, because they're already trying to switch people or sway people's decision in 2020. And it's very discouraging. I don't think it's going to let up, and we need a break as a society.
So, wow. We do need a break as a society. I mean, I think that it certainly is stressing people out. You know, I actually finding, though, like you said, more people are unplugging. Like, I just can't even deal with that anymore. I can't.
Right.
You know, people are taking breaks, and you'll see they'll announce it on Facebook. I'm going to be gone for a while, and they're gone, and then they come back. And maybe that's the ultimate, when people have reached a point where they can no longer stand it, that they'll push back.
Exactly, and you know, I myself, I took 2 months off of Facebook and social media this summer, and it was very interesting to see. You know, because that first week, like I was saying, like, oh my gosh, I've got all these, you know, interviews I need to, and it's like, wait a minute, if I actually go to a specific website, you know, like CBS News, and read the story, you find out what's actually going on and being said in there instead of just reading all the headlines. So that's what I'm recommending everybody do.
Well, Dr. Huber, it is always, always, always a treat to have you on the show. How to tell people again about mainstream mental health and some of the work that you're doing there?
Well, what we're trying to do is destigmatize mental health and make it something that we can talk about, and talk about it fully, instead of feeling some kind of shame or as if we're broken or somehow our family may be cursed. And you know, there are great strides and advances ready to be made in mental health, but because we don't talk about it, we're not open about it. You know, when I diagnose somebody who's been having troubles for a long time, and now they have a diagnosis, and the families turn around and say, oh, well, he was normal up until last week when you give him the diagnosis. Well, that's not actually true. These things build on themselves, and until we start communicating and talking about exactly what's happening in these people's lives, we're going to be playing catch up as opposed to being proactive and maybe interfering and getting in the way of some of these disorders and stuff from actually going full bore. We can stop them before they get to that point and disrupt some of these lives significantly. So mainstream mental health out there, we want mental health to be mainstream. We want people to be able to talk about it, not feel any shame. It's not a crazy thing. It's a human thing. So check us out at drpsycho.org or mainstreammentalhealth.org.
I giggle every time you say that, drpsycho.org. Well, Dr. Huber, of course, it's been a treat to have you on. We look forward to our next conversation. And, you know, I think that's a good prescription to ask everybody to unplug, or maybe, you know, drastically limit their time on social media. I think it's good for mental health.
Exactly, and there's apps out there. Even the new iPhone 10 can monitor and tell you how long you've actually been on it. So, you know, give you a target time of, you know, an hour, maybe 2 hours or less a day. And I think you'll be surprised how much you feel like you're not on there, because we're on there a lot more than we believe.
You know, it's like going to the end of the year or end of the month and looking at Quicken and seeing how many times you went to Starbucks that month and how much you actually spent.
Scary.
Scary. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, and y'all have a blessed week, and watch out for Halloween.
Watch out for Halloween. All right, with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
Attention business professionals, since 2006, the Inland Empire's largest mixer has been bringing together success-minded businessmen and women for an evening of making new connections that help grow businesses. Don't miss this opportunity to meet your next client during the 2018 Inland Empire's largest mixer on Tuesday, November 13th from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Riverside Convention Center. The IE Mixer happens only once a year. For more information, visit iemixer.com. That's iemixer.com. Inland Empire's largest mixer, where business meets business.
It's time to say see you later, alligator, to embarrassing and troublesome issues with your skin, nails, and hair with all-natural Cayman alligator oil. Cayman oil is locally made, right in Louisiana, where people have been using alligator oil for centuries to treat all kinds of ailments. A drop a day of Cayman oil can help you say see you later, alligator, to athlete's foot, nail fungus, acne, eczema, rashes, dry skin, cuts, infections, MRSA, scars, burns, sunburns, and even ingrown hair and dandruff. If you or someone you know is tired of suffering with any of these skin, nail, and hair troubles, you need to visit mycayman.com to learn more about 100% natural, non-toxic, hypoallergenic Cayman oil and get a bottle today. Say see you later, alligator, with Cayman alligator oil at mycayman.com. That's mycayman.com. mycayman.com.
I'm so tired of the buffering on my smartphone.
I'm so over it. Next.
Right? I am so over it. Next.
A radio? Next.
No buffering, just your favorite local radio station?
Next Radio uses the FM tuner that is already built into your phone, so you can listen to your favorite stations on the go. Because Next Radio uses the FM tuner already built into your smartphone, it saves on data and battery usage. When compared to streaming audio, Next Radio uses less than a tenth of your data, and your battery will last 3 times longer. Next Radio, it's FM radio on your smartphone.
Introducing a radio inside your cell phone. Listen to all kinds of local radio stations, including KCAA 106.5 Yucaipa and 102.3 Riverside on Next Radio. Download the free Next Radio app today. 100% free, 100% fun, 0% buffering. Stop the buffer and listen to KCAA.
Are you or a loved one suffering from addiction? You're not alone. There is help, and people are getting help every day. Call Share Recovery now at 888-254-6801. That's 888-254-6801. Or go to sharerecovery.com, spelled S-H-E-E-R, recovery.com. If you have insurance through work or family, your treatment may be covered at little or no cost to you. Plus, you can't lose your job if you decide to seek help. Share Recovery offers all levels of treatment. We understand what you're going through and know how to help. Make the best decision of your life and call Share Recovery now, spelled S-H-E-E-R. The number is 888-254-6801. That's 888-254-6801. The start of a better life begins here.
This is KCAA.
Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink. Oh, Todd Brinker, sorry. Go ahead, Todd.
You just tried to cut me off.
Again.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And I got to cue this up. It's time for Todd's movie review.
just not used to having three of us here, right? That's the problem. Is it's unusual, but it's been fun. I enjoy it.
I do too. Actually, I really, really enjoy it. And you know, it's to be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't sleep last night. I just kept waking up.
Probably PTSD.
You know, it must be from the election. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, we really need to shorten our election cycle. We need to just, like, I think Canada, it's like all said and done in 3 months or less. You know, even for their presidential elections, or they're not president but PM.
Yeah, Australia is very quick too. I think they have like a 6-week window. They're very limited in what they can do. It's quick and done.
Yeah. I mean, how long does it take you to size somebody up and say, yeah, I like that person, or no?
Right.
Anyhow, movies. So I've had a really busy week. There's a couple of movies in the theaters I would love to go see, but I haven't had a chance to see them. So I sat down and said, what's on television to watch? And a movie that was in theaters in August is now available out on streaming and DVD. Juliet Naked is a hilarious British-American comedy drama. It's a dramedy. It's starring Rose Byrne and Ethan Hawke and Chris O'Dowd, who is hilarious if you've not seen him in things. The three of them work really, really well. What I really like about this movie is it's another movie based on a novel by Nick Hornby. Now, if that name doesn't ring a bell to you, here's some of his novels: High Fidelity, About a Boy, How to Be Good, A Long Way Down, Juliet Naked, Funny Girl. He's also written movies direct to screenplay, right? Fever Pitch, An Education, Wild, if you remember that.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Reese Witherspoon.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Brooklyn, he wrote that. And so he's done some pretty amazing stuff, as well as a memoir that was also made into 2 movies. It was made and then remade, called Fever Pitch. The British version is hilarious. The American version, please skip it. Yeah, it was
sad.
it was saddled with some poor casting. Jimmy Fallon is the lead in the American version, and although he's a funny comedian, whether you like him or not, he just is not a strong actor. And Drew Barrymore plays his love interest. She's great. He is not. The UK version has Colin Firth as the lead, and clearly he's a little bit more refined in his acting skills. So Fever Pitch is, but what's cool about all of his movies is that they all have a tie-in to like music and sports. Those are things that he likes. Most of them have to do with relationships or people either dealing with relationships that aren't working or moving on to new relationships, and he just writes in a very specific and interesting way with quirky things. I mean, you remember About a Boy is about this guy who's basically living off of his inheritance, doing nothing, and he's kind of a bum, and he runs into this strange little boy whose mother has mental illness. I mean, it's the way around that, and she deals with a lot of depression, and they form this kind of weird, extended, bizarro family. High Fidelity is a guy who owns a music shop that's not doing well. It's a used record shop or a offbeat record shop, and his records are sort of phasing out. What do you do? And he sort of morphs into and his relationship's failing, so he tries to figure out why his relationship's failing by going and talking to every person he ever had a relationship that failed. And so he goes and meets all of his past girlfriends.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's he just writes really, really well, and virtually, I mean, his first novel, High Fidelity, is a movie. His second novel, About a Boy, is a movie. His fourth novel, Long Way Down, is an amazing movie that didn't get enough play. The novel was in 2005. It's about 4 people who meet on New Year's on a rooftop because they decided they're going to kill themselves.
Oh.
And they managed to talk themselves, the 4 of them, out of killing themselves, and they become friends. And so you had this relationship with these 4 people, and they agree to try to get through 1 year. If they can get through a year together, then they think they maybe will be okay. And so it's about that year and how those 4 people get along and whether they meet on that roof again to do the deed or not. And it's just a great movie. So, I started talking about Juliet Naked, and I thought it was a really good, a lot of fun movie. Again, about a guy who, Chris O'Dowd plays a guy who is running a fan site online about this alternative musician played by Ethan Hawke from the 90s who just disappeared after his seminal album. Just disappeared. Nobody knew where he was at. And so he has all these rumors on his site. And somebody finds some studio tapes and releases an album. His most famous album was named Juliet. And they release an all-acoustic version of that called Juliet Naked. And his girlfriend, Rose Byrne, listens to the CD that he has of Juliet Naked and basically goes onto his website and trashes it and says, this is a bunch of crap. This is nowhere as good as the one that was actually done and finished. This is clearly pieces of partial work. And of course, the fan was obsessing over how wonderful it was. And they have a big, huge fight and break up. And Ethan Hawke, who plays the musician, then reaches out to her. And so the whole movie plays out as their relationships develop, the three of them, and how that works and what goes on. And it's just well written, well acted. It's a blast to sit and kind of giggle through the movie. Ethan Hawke plays a washed up former musician in a very interesting way. And I just highly recommend this movie.
So I've not seen High Fidelity, but it's on my list because I really like John Cusack. I have seen About a Boy, which it was very, very good. Hugh Grant is in that one, and it's excellent. It really is good. And so now I'd never heard of Juliet Naked, and I'm that's added to my list. The movies, he seems they're very character driven, and there's the characters are multidimensional, which makes them far more interesting than just him good, her bad.
Yeah, they all have backstories as to why they're doing that. If you watch on the Juliet Naked's extra scenes and stuff, the making of, they talk about how Ethan Hawke had to read through the whole novel. Initially wanted to stay away from the novel, but he had to read through the whole novel so that he could understand why his character was doing things. And once he did, then that colors what happens earlier in the movie because he now knows where this guy comes from. And you see that as you watch the movie.
So now, did you watch this? Was this on Google Play or iTunes or?
I watched it on iTunes. It's available on Amazon as well. It's not on streaming yet, but I'm sure it will be before long. You can go search for it. Because it wasn't like a big hit movie. His movies aren't big, blockbuster type movies. They're small, sweet movies that are very character driven, but they are just a great way to spend an hour and a half to 2 hours and just enjoy the movie a lot. I really recommend A Long Way Down as well. Also a great film.
One of his? Because I've not heard of that one, A Long Way Down?
It was a novel that he wrote and was also made into a movie, yes.
Yeah, 4 people meet on a rooftop, Aaron.
No, that one's High Fidelity, isn't it?
No.
No.
Oh, A Long Way, okay.
That's A Long Way Down.
Okay.
A Long Way Down is, Pierce Brosnan, Toni Collette, Imogen Poots, and Aaron Paul, all 4 of them amazing actors in their own right, and they play the 4 people in the movie.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was just a little confused, as my husband's laughing at me. I was just a little confused.
She didn't get
High
much
Fidelity
sleep
is John Cusack and a very young Jack Black. Who does just an amazing job in that movie as well. I mean,
that's the record
he's
store
got the
movie.
luck of having some really incredible actors in a lot of the screen versions of his novels as well, and they seem to really be drawn to the strong characters and the dialogue. And so, I would just say just look at his whole catalog and go watch those movies if you can.
Wonderful. Well, we are completely out of time. Thank you both for joining us, for being with us, for being with me on the air and putting up with my sleepy head. I'm Aaron Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker. I got to say it. Yes.
Yay! And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. Have a great day, everyone.